Good evening. I want to welcome everybody to the Lebanon Utility Service Board meeting for April the 22nd, 2026. The meeting was appropriately notified, and our first item will be Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation.
First item, we give the opportunity for public comment. Do we have any? We don't have any public comment. We'll go to the next item, which is the approval of the minutes for April the 8th, 2026. Has everybody had the opportunity to review the minutes? Then I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I have a first, I have a second.
Second.
Second by Aaron. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, the next item is 2025 financial review information only. Sandra?
Good evening, everyone. And I'm here tonight to do the 2025 financial presentation. And just keep in mind, I think the financials we sent out several weeks ago, those are about 50 pages. So this is an extremely high-level summary. So for the electric utility, we had operating revenue of $29,796,252, operating expenses of $28,471,022 for an operating income $1,325,230. We had non-operating revenue of $116,234, and that is a combination of interest expense that we've earned and interest on the debt that we have on our bond, for a net margin of $1,441,464. If you look at the budget analysis, I think the budget analysis looks really good. We were very close on our operating revenues. The difference was $298,000, which is about 1.6%, 1.06%. And on our operating expenses, the difference was $276,000 for 0.98%. So more revenue, but more expenses, but that put it back to really close to what we budgeted. Our 2025 electric major capital improvements, instead of listing everything this year, what I did is I just listed everything $200,000 or above $200,000. And anything below that, we lumped under other. So in total, we budgeted about $3.5 million. We spent about $1.9 million for a variance of about $1.6 million. Overall, the financial performance for the electric utility was on target with the budget. The current rates have been in place since 2012, 2013 area. The current rate structure was designed to provide about $1 million for capital improvements, and we did come in at approximately $2 million. Our capital outlay was $1.9 million. However, with the other items in the cash flow, we did have a cash decrease for the whole year of $146,000. Looking forward, our 10-year historical capital outlay is about $1.89 million per year. Our current budget for the next 6 years, it's going to be around $4 million. So we are currently looking at rates to assist with that shortfall. Any questions on electric? For the water utility, we have operating revenue $5,865,175. Operating expenses, $4,674,685 for an operating income of $1,190,490. Again, we have that non-operating revenue expense, $472,465 for a net margin of $1,662,955. I felt like the budget was really on target again for the water utility. For our operating revenues, we were just under by $68,000 for 1.23%. On our operating expenses, we were just over, but only by about 0.5%. And looking at our major capital improvements, in total, we budgeted $7.6 million. We spent about $1.5 million for a variance of $6,157,000. So taking a quick look at the water utility, again, it was pretty on target with the budgeted expectations. The rates were built, I believe these rates went into effect in 2018. We did those rates over a 5-year period. They were built to allow for $758,000 annually, but as we have grown, they did allow this year for about $1.9 million. A large portion of that is still in anticipation of the 2019 and the 2021 bonds. Payments on the 2021 bonds started in 23, and they will increase a little bit. Our actual 2025 capital outlay was $1.5 million, so we did have a little bit of increase in our cash flow for the water utility. Going forward, though, our current 6-year capital budget shows an average of $2.5 million needed annually. On the wastewater utility, we had operating revenue of $6,046,977, operating expenses of $5,280,173, for an operating income of $766,804. We had non-operating revenue expense of $694,721 for a net margin of $1,461,525. We did a really good job, I feel like, budgeting the operating revenues. We were only about 0.63% under. On the operating expenses, we was off by 5.53%, and our target is always under 10%, so we don't feel like that was too bad. Our improvements, we did budget $10.6 million. We spent about $4.9 million for a variance of about $5.8 million. And looking at the wastewater utility again, I believe those rates were put into place about 2015. They did allow for about $938,000 in capital improvements. For 2025, they allowed for just over $2 million, but we did actually outlay $4.9 million in 2025 for capital improvements. The good news there is a lot of that $4.9 million was covered by availability fees. So our net decrease for the year was only $286,000 in cash. And then looking forward, over the next 6 years, we do show an average of $3.9 million needed annually.
See, Sandra, would you please go back to that income slide for wastewater? It's brought to my attention again that there's a developer who has not paid their availability fees totaling $739,200. Now, the initial invoice for that, or the final invoice for that, was sent out in 2025. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
So our net margin would have been about, 1/3 more if this developer had paid their fees that's overdue. Is that accurate?
So if you look at what I'm presenting in front of you, we don't include availability fees with that. But if you actually go in on the income statement that we provided in the bigger report, you'll see that we have availability fees down under other non-operating revenue. So the way that works for that particular payment is because we billed it in 2025, we actually recognize the revenue in 2025 because we do accrual-based accounting versus cash basis. So that $700,000 was recognized as revenue in 2025. And you are correct, we have not received it.
We're cash poor by $740,000.
Correct.
Let's see. I find that quite interesting. I want this thing brought to a head. I'm going to make a request that there be an agenda item on our May 20th meeting where this is brought before us and we're told how it's been resolved or what we need to do to resolve it. If that could please be accomplished, I would appreciate it.
we'll get it on the agenda. Another agenda item later is you're going to have the board appointments, and the board chairman and vice chair will help me set the agenda, and we'll get that done.
Thank you.
All right. We ready?
Thank you.
All right, so on the telecommunications utility, we had operating revenue of $843,982. Operating expenses, $804,631 for an operating income of $39,351. We had interest revenue of $54,295 for a net margin of $93,646. From a budget standpoint, our revenues were about 6.5% less than what we projected, and our total expenses were about $87,000 or 12% more than what we projected. And I know in the budget meetings and the finance meetings, Seth has talked a little bit about why that trend is happening right now. On our capital expenditures, we budgeted $420,000. We actually only spent $87,000 for a difference of $332,000. And to summarize that, the financial performance was slightly less or a little bit less than what we budgeted. However, through 2025, the telecommunications division did continue to generate positive net margins. They also contributed approximately $375,000 in allocated costs to the other three utilities. They currently have no debt, which does allow for a little bit of accumulation of cash to improve the system. And overall, they did still have a net cash increase of about $44,000. With that, I'll take any other questions.
Any board discussion?
Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Sandra.
I'd like to note here that we had a lot of folks that were very close to being on budget, and I, for one, who sort of like budgets and them being adhered to, I just like to recognize that they're pretty good to me from a budget standpoint. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra.
All right, thank you.
The next item we have is board appointments, committees, and liaison, and that's an action. So is there any board discussion?
I'm ready to make a motion if there's no further discussion.
Legal, do we need 1, 2, or 3 motions? for
Two
this?
motions would be fine.
Two motions,
Two slates.
two slates. Okay. Go ahead, Aaron.
I move to approve the utility board slate of officers as follows: Chairman, Tim Hudson; Vice Chairman, Ann Patterson; Secretary, Bill Stoner.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
I say we need a second.
Oh, you second, okay.
I got it. Second.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries or slate carries. The next one will be the utility department liaisons.
I move to approve the following as utility department liaisons: electric utility, Bill Stoner; wastewater utility, Aaron Smith; water utility, Ann Patterson; I-Lines, Ann Patterson; administration, Tim Hudson.
Second.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So then we'll go down to the utility board committee members.
Right. And before I make a motion, I just want to point out to the public that we discussed this amongst ourselves during the working session, and this is where these appointments come from. I move to approve the utility board committee members as follows: Personnel Committee, Bill Stoner, Tim Hudson; Finance Committee, Ann Patterson, Aaron Smith.
Have a second? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item will be the IC revision contract. It's action item. Jeff?
Good evening. This request is to approve a revision of our existing IMPA contract for our engineering services. The original contract was written with a not to exceed weekly amount and a dollar amount for the mileage reimbursement for him. The revised contract has removed the weekly not to exceed and changed the mileage reimbursement rate to the current IRS rate. These changes will not affect the yearly not to exceed amount. Basically, we feel like we will use him or use ISC at different times of the year. And instead of setting a weekly amount, we may need them more one week versus other weeks. So we felt like this was more in our favor to do it this way. And that's about all I'm asking. If you have any questions,
You want to see Phil more?
sometimes.
Doesn't change the total not to exceed amount of the original contract, correct?
Nope, the original was the 148,400. It is not changing. We just want to remove the weekly limit. So we can use them more some weeks than others if we desire. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I can add on to that. The estimate that Phil made for the contract was him being here 1 day a week. And what we found is that there's days when he's not here 1 day a week, other days when he's here 2 or 3 days a week. And the way the contract was written, it really wanted him to be here 1 day a week. So we just wanted to modify it to reflect reality. The 1 day a week seems to be working. With our growth, we may need more, may need less, but it gives us more flexibility. So.
Yep. And then in the off season, in the slower seasons, he won't be here as often. And like right now, we're using him like crazy. So it just goes, back and forth. And the mileage reimbursement is basically for the same reason. We just set it at that. So it's more of a even number that we know and not something they set. And that, we only see him when we need to, basically.
Yep, sounds good.
Well, with that, I would entertain a motion to revise the contract with IMPA Service Corporation with the removal of both the weekly not to exceed amount and the dollar amount of mileage, and have General Manager Ed Baswell sign all documents.
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item is the interconnection agreement with Lebanon School Corporation. Jeff Jacobs.
Thank you, Board. David Bailey is always also here and can provide some background to this, but it is my understanding that the school corporation is undergoing some construction at one of the schools, and as part of a grant program has added in some regeneration or some generation facilities and some solar, but in particular a micro turbine. You are seeing a new revised interconnection agreement. We've been using one that was somewhat stale. This is a more up-to-date agreement that will allow for future connection and growth within our system. As this board is aware, anytime someone attempts to, on their side of the meter, to connect to our system, we have some standards that must be met from a public safety and our staff safety standpoint. And this agreement reflects some of those technical standards. Happy to answer any questions, as I'm sure David would be as well.
This agreement been reviewed with the school board council?
Yes, we sent them a preliminary agreement, and they sent it back signed, even though I told them it wasn't valid yet. We had to wait. So they were ready to get this installed. They've already purchased all their material, and they are waiting for us to sign ours so they can sign a contract with IMPA for reimbursement of Generation 2.
Any other board discussion? With that, then I would entertain a motion to approve the interconnection agreement with Lebanon Community School Corporation as presented.
Second.
Second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed,
Aye.
same side. Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. Next item will be the Resolution 2026-05 establishing general terms and conditions for the service of telecom service action. Jeff Jacobs.
Actually, Jake Eckhart is going to handle that from the podium, my office.
Okay.
Thank you, Board. Yes, as Attorney Jacob was mentioning, the purpose of the two resolutions before you is twofold. One is to update the terms and conditions surrounding telecommunications service provided by the utility, and also to update the rates and charges. Currently, the utility has combined both aspects of these two resolutions, the rate change and the terms and conditions, into one ordinance, 2022-2024. The purpose of these resolutions is to pass a companion ordinance that repeals and replaces 2022-24 in addition to 3 other ordinances which that ordinance amends, and update the utility's telecommunications service in keeping with current times, current services provided, and certain tweaks to help maintain efficiency and provide safe, efficient service. If there are any questions from the board, I'd be happy to take them. And if they are too technical for me, I'd be happy to defer to Seth Bird from iLines to further communicate those issues.
Any board discussion? And I would move to approve resolution
Does
2020.
Jake need to read the message?
I got it. Yeah, so
Oh, okay.
Read it? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
we need to read the,
Resolution 2026-05, establishing general terms and conditions, I think that, of service for telecom service by the City of Lebanon Utilities, whereas the City of Lebanon, Indiana owns and operates through the Utility Service Board telecommunications utility known as Lebanon Utilities iLines, for the purpose of providing safe, reliable, and efficient communication service in and around the city pursuant to Indiana Code 81-2.6 as amended, and other applicable provisions of Indiana law. Whereas the board periodically evaluates changes and readjusts its terms and conditions for the use and operation of the utility to reflect changes in the telecommunication services provided by the utility. Whereas the board finds that the proposed terms and conditions set forth in the attached Exhibit A are non-discriminatory, reasonable, and just. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Lebanon Utility Service Board that it recommends the Common Council of the City of Lebanon pass a resolution or ordinance establishing the terms and conditions set forth in the attached Exhibit A for the telecommunications division of the utility, which shall take effect upon its adoption. And attached as Exhibit A are and I will not read all of these, but it is some updated general terms and conditions for the operation of iLines. It has various consumer service classes, point-to-point service, defining what customers, talks about our dark fiber service, lit fiber service, our standard wireless installation, sets out standards for that. Talks about our rate schedule, which is the next resolution, our contract for service, talks about our cancellation policy, payment, our actual terms for service, that we have access to the equipment as needed. It talks about service interruptions. We have the right to refuse or discontinue service, our limitation of liability, et cetera. Happy to answer any questions on those, but those in essence update our regulations, or update some of the regulatory issues, take out old services that are no longer utilized, and basically streamlines our iLines operations for day-to-day operations with the community.
Any other board discussion? If not, then I move to have a resolution 2026-05 establishing general terms and condition for service for the telecom service.
so moved.
First, second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item is resolution 2026-06 establishing a schedule for rates and charges collected for the use of service provided by Telecom Department of the City of Lebanon.
Board, this is Resolution 2020-06, I think, or 2606. I think Jake covered that in his discussion. I'd be happy to read that, and here I'd be happy to answer questions.
Want to read it legal?
Resolution establishing a schedule of rates and charges collected for the use of and services provided by the Telecom Department of the City of Lebanon Utilities. Whereas the City of Lebanon, Indiana owns and operates through its utility service board a telecommunications utility known as Lebanon Utilities I-Lines for the purpose of providing safe, reliable, and efficient communication services in and around the city pursuant to Indiana Code 812.6 as amended and other applicable provisions of Indiana law. Whereas the board periodically evaluates changes and readjusts its various fees and charges to collect sufficient revenue in order to pay all expenses incident to the use and operation of the utility and to reflect changes in the telecommunication services provided by the utility. Whereas the Common Council for the City of Lebanon, upon recommendation of the board, previously adopted ordinance numbers 0507, 0711, 0809, and I'm amending, as we discussed in the working session, 2022-24, establishing the existing schedule of rates and charges. Whereas the board has recommended that ordinance numbers 0507, 0711, 0809, and inserting 2022-24 be repealed and replaced in order to modify the city's existing rates and charges in keeping with the efficient operation of the utility. Whereas the board finds that the proposed rates and charges are non-discriminatory, reasonable, and just, now therefore be it resolved, the Lebanon Utility Service Board, that it recommends to the Common Council of the City of Lebanon pass an ordinance or resolution repealing and replacing ordinances number 0507, 0711, 0809, and inserting 2022-24 and establishing the following rates and charges of the telecommunication division of the utility, which will take effect upon its adoption. Section 1, repeal of broadband over power lines rates. All rates and fees and charges previously established by broadband over power line service under ordinance numbers 0507, 0711, 0809, and inserting 2022-24 are hereby repealed and shall have no further force or effect. Section 2, terrestrial fixed wireless internet. And so this goes on board to talk about the various, and I should have caught myself earlier, goes on to establish various rates and charges that we've discussed that are either consistent and updating what we've done in the past or deleting a few, and I believe there are a few new insertions. These are also some of the non-recurring rates and charges are also consistent with the other utilities such as return check fee, et cetera. Happy to answer any questions. Seth is also here, or Jake.
More discussion?
I just want to say thanks to Jake and Seth for these updates and for the explanations they provided to us in the working session.
Very good.
Thank you, Board.
Okay, if not, then I would entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2026, establishing a schedule for rates, charges collected for use in the service provided by Telecom Department of the City of Lebanon Utilities as presented.
So moved.
Okay.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item we have is Resolution 2026-03, approving GMP Report Number 2 with Bowen Engineering Corporation for the Civil Water Distribution System Improvements Program. Does the legal counsel, Ryan?
Good evening. Let me get to my papers here. I had them all messed up. All right. This is for a repair on the bridge, for bridge number 310. I apologize.
That's the next one.
Is that the next one? I am so sorry. Is this for the GMP? Yeah.
Yeah, for 2026-03.
Yes, sir. Okay, sorry. This GMP report is for Bowen Engineering and Civil Water Distribution. I'm going to call up John Leitner on this. I apologize. I don't have my papers with me.
No, Ryan was correct. So this is GMP report number 2 of the Civil Water Distribution System Improvements Program that is for the Park Street Bridge 310 improvements to a water main that's hanging underneath the bridge that actually goes through the 2 abutments. And the current issue is that where those pipes penetrate the abutments is actually leaving a gap or a hole, which is causing the backfill material to kind of sieve through and causing issues on the surface then of the roadway.
So Board, we have an existing public-private agreement with Bowen Engineering. And so what we're proposing to do is to, in essence, put in a GMP report consistent with the water main repair program that they're currently operating for the repair to the bridge. This is congruent with the interlocal cooperation agreement, which is the next item on your agenda.
And the next item involves 50-50 split of the cost between the utility and
That's correct.
and the county.
That's correct.
So the GMP report amount is 140,000. So that 140,000 is what will be split 50-50, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Unless so it is a guaranteed savings price through a BOT. So if we do, that's the ceiling price. If we do have, savings, and let's say it comes in at 130,000, then that 130,000 will be the 50-50 split. So just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, I apologize for the confusion on that, but yeah, John laid out the project. This is much needed for this bridge, and we have a great relationship with the county, and we came together and we're able to provide a permanent solution. Solutions before this were not really solutions. They were temporary and just do the best that they can for a repair. But to address it correctly, this is the process we need to go through.
I'd be happy to read resolution.
Okay, go ahead.
Resolution 2026-03, resolution approving public-private agreement, GMP report number 2 for Civil Water Distribution System Improvements Program. Whereas the City of Lebanon, Indiana owns and operates by and through the Lebanon Utility Service Board, a municipally owned utility known as Lebanon Utilities, for the purpose of providing safe, reliable, and efficient water service in and around the city. Whereas the board finds it in its best interest of the ratepayers, the utility, and the City of Lebanon to expand, improve, and maintain the infrastructure of the water system. Whereas the board authorized the issuance of a request for proposals for the construction and operation of civil water distribution system improvements, which includes upgrades to the Lebanon Utilities water system, including replacement of the water main along State Road 39 pursuant to Indiana law, including Indiana Code 523.3. Whereas on or about on June 4th, 2025, the board conducted a public hearing related to the RFP, the project, and the scoring committee recommendation to select Bowen Engineering for construction of the project. Bless you. Whereas the board authorized entry into a public-private agreement for the construction of the Civil Water Distribution System Improvements Program BOT dated September 17th, 2025, with Bowen for the design and construction of the project. Whereas the board has received and reviewed Bowen's Civil Water Distribution System Improvement Program BOT GMP report number 2, Bridge 310 Park Street, water main repairs, which is attached as Exhibit A, and staff's recommendation to approve the same. Now therefore be it resolved by the Lebanon Utility Service Board that GMP report number 2 is approved and adopted by the board to become effective upon its execution by the utility general manager, adopted this 22nd day of April 2026. And as a note, I would recommend that any motion approving this resolution be contingent upon the approval of the interlocal agreement by this board and by the county.
More discussion for this?
In the working session, it was brought out about the good working relationship that the utility staff has with the county staff. That's an important matter to our community, and I commend the staffs and the working relationship that they have developed.
Yeah, I appreciate that. This has been very easy. I don't want to speak for Jeff's side of this, but as far as working with the county to come up with the correct solution and to do it the right way. They were fully on board. We were fully on board. And, I think it's only fair that it's a cooperative agreement. So it's gone really well.
If not, then I'd move to approve Resolution 2026-03, approving GMP Report Number 2 with Boeing Engineering Corporation for Civil Water Distribution System Improvements Program, and authorize General Manager to execute GMP report subject to approval of the Interlock Corporation Agreement with Boone County as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm all opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, next item will be interlocal cooperation agreement regarding Bridge 310 abutment repairs and cost-sharing action. Ryan?
Yeah, Jeff kind of laid this all out. This just allows us to have an agreement with the county to, basically memorialize our agreement of a split on this project. And, I can let Jeff give some background on that, but that's basically kind of what this agreement is.
Yeah, so this reflects the GMP report process, and if there are any shared savings, as indicated earlier, that would be shared by both parties, and it's really a reimbursement program. The county's being included on the insurance policy, and with your approval, we would get the county's approval. They've seen this agreement, but not executed it. So the one amendment I would make to paragraph 2, it indicates that including Bridge 310 located at, and I would insert Park Street, known as Bridge 310.
What's timing, Ryan, for start?
I'll let John weigh in on that.
So Bowen would start tomorrow if we had everything signed. So they're ready to get in there and get it going. I'd be remiss not to mention what a great job they did on the work in GMP report number 1 on the State Road 39 water main replacement. That project happened basically without us, or without me really knowing it even started. Our construction inspection staff and Ryan's staff were obviously all over it, but it went so well, we really didn't hear any issues. Was in and out, and I anticipate that this will be a very similar process. They'll be in and out before really probably many people realize.
Has the savings on that report number 1 been determined, if any?
So in the end, on GMP report number 1, we did not have any savings. If anything, I think the cost might have exceeded the GMP or guaranteed maximum price just slightly, but that was not anything that Bowen asked for any additional funds for or anything like that. But again, the project went really well construction-wise.
We also didn't have any change orders.
That's good.
Correct.
No change. order.
Guaranteed maximum price remained the guaranteed maximum price.
Any more board discussion?
If it's okay, I would like to point out that
Go ahead.
thank you. Along with Mr. Smith and the coordination with the county, we do have outstanding coordination between our legal team, our engineers. Ryan is pretty much juggling knives with this, trying to get the attorney stuff right, the county, and he might have one piece of paper out of order on a stack of paper there, but
I dropped that knife.
But hey, there's just a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of places that don't go to the effort to do it this way, and we do it this way because it saves the ratepayers money, and our teams to be commended. So thanks, Ryan.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts behind the scenes, and these guys do a great job of keeping all those parts moving in the right direction. So, we couldn't do it without a team effort. There's just no way.
If no other discussion, then I would make a motion to approve the interlocal cooperation agreement regarding Bridge 310 abutment repairs and cost sharing with Boone County, Park Street 310.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The next item we have is 1313 West Main Street reassessment agreement. Spencer Portish.
Good evening. As the board is well aware, we've been working with both the city planning team and developers throughout our community to complete these memorandums of understandings based upon availability that we deemed left after the reassessment evaluation. So this MOU is just a basic one for one, one water and one wastewater. That's for 1313 West Main Street. This is an existing structure. I believe in the past it has been a diesel mechanic shop. It will be transitioning to a beauty salon or a hair salon. So that change is expected to be made. Nothing really special about this one, pretty standard. And I believe in the past we've done where I pretty much request for you guys to approve this. So I would like that to be considered.
Yeah, board discussion on this item? And if not, I would make a motion to approve 1313 West Main Street reassessment agreement.
So moved.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion's carried. Next item is the suspension of the hydrant meter bulk water program. Ryan?
Got my paper this time, so I'm going to see if I can do it a little bit better than the last one. We would like to propose suspending the hydrant meter bulk water program. We still keep intact our bulk water program at the wastewater treatment plant at 806 Lafayette Road. That is, subject to our working hours with pause from 12 to 1 for lunch to make sure staff has time to grab some food. But we have about 8 to 10 hydrant meters out right now. And we have some concerns with the way that they're being used, and more importantly, not being used. We do have more recently we have an incident where we had a contractor that was using the hydrant without a meter. That brings up a number of major red flags. First and foremost, public health and safety. Without a meter and a backflow device on that meter, any hose that is draped into a tank that could have contained anything that was being hauled. If we have a water main break in the area or a sudden change of pressure near that, and that water gets sucked out of that tank back into the system, then you're looking at an immediate boil order and possibly people getting sick from that. So we want to avoid that. Obviously, that's the number one red flag. The second one is the theft of the water. We pay to have water treated. When it goes to the meter, we get reimbursed for that. We also have water audits that we use for IFA, we use for the state, and water losses is a part of that water audit. So when you're losing 65, 70,000, sometimes 100,000 in a couple of truckloads, that adds up to quite a large number if you multiply that out throughout the year. And then also damage to the hydrants. We have people that will not use the designed hydrant wrench that goes on there, designed specifically for a fire hydrant. They'll use a pipe wrench that strips that top nut out, not allowing the fire department to be able to turn that on. If we know of a damaged hydrant, we put a red bag over it for emergency purposes, so the fire department knows to avoid that one and use a different one. We also notify the fire department of the exact location of that hydrant. If it's broken, we don't know it. Precious time could be lost hooking up to that hydrant, trying to get water out of it, and not getting either any water or a sufficient amount to fight a fire. Also, this allows us to know exactly what we have going out water-wise every day. We all know we want to keep water at the top of our list as far as conservation in the water department, and make sure that we know exactly what we have coming in, what we're treating, and what we have going out. The meters that we have now, the majority of them, 90% of them, do not have a cellular read meter on it. So when it leaves our property, we don't know how much water is being taken out of the system until that is returned. If it's 2-3 months later, a year later, we won't know that number until that is returned. That could be upwards of 100,000, 200,000. We have no idea. So this will allow us we can read our meter at the plant daily. So we know exactly what we have going out, what we have coming in. It allows us to make sure that we have sufficient amount of water correctly being distributed and being accounted for throughout the system. So my proposal is that we suspend the hydrant meter program that we have, still allowing bulk water at the designated site on 806 Lafayette Avenue. And I can take any questions that the board may have on this.
Any board discussion? If not, I move to have a motion to approve a suspension of the hydrant meter bulk water program effective May the 15th.
So moved.
Board, if I may, we would also like to insert some exception language, and I would welcome the opportunity to insert an exception for utility managed projects that necessitate connection to the water system or bulk water for utility related projects to be determined in the utility's discretion. I'm sorry.
May the 15th.
Yeah, I apologize. Yeah, Mr. Stoner, thank you for bringing that up. I would like for a deadline of May 15th to be, we will send letters out, certified letters out to anyone that has a hydrant meter out right now. If anybody that I've had interaction with going into this, I have given them an update that this is what we are going to pursue so they can pivot and be ready for that by, getting a tanker or making the proper arrangements. But this would allow time for the letter to be delivered and for contractors that do have meters to make the arrangements and not be an emergency situation.
So what the suggested amendment to the motion would be effective May 15th, 2026, and then the insertion of the exception for utility managed project. And as we discussed in the working session, we have one going on, the lining project, for example, needs water in order to perform that function. So it would be similar type projects.
I make that motion subject to legal as presented.
So moved.
Second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item is approval of the claims payroll transfers dated April the 22nd, 2026. I'd entertain a motion, if everyone has had the opportunity to review that, then I would entertain a motion to approve claims payroll transfers dated April 22nd, 2026 in the amount of $3,083,881.20 for claims and payroll and $8,793,651.87 for transfers.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Any other business that may come before this body? Does anyone have anything?
Yeah, I just, real quick, while we'll have an opportunity, I wanted to let everyone know that we do have open office hours tomorrow. We're continuing with that. It'll be in the room right next door to where we are from 2:30 to 4:30. And then we will be sending an updated schedule for May. We are looking to move that to capture a little bit more of the evening to allow people, when they get off work, to be able to attend and not have so much of it, kind of during the workday. We don't know what those hours are yet. We're going to work on that. But once we get that, it will be updated on social media, and we'll continue to announce when those working sessions when those open office hours are during the board meetings.
Yeah, let me see. So we originally had scheduled 3 of these sessions, correct?
3 or 4, I believe. Yes, sir.
And those 3 have been completed. So you're scheduling extra ones. It seems like to me we're trying to be really transparent there, Ryan.
Doing our best. Yeah, we have our last scheduled one is tomorrow. I like to have them the day after board meetings. So if any topics come up during the board meeting that that are better in a one-on-one or a small group discussion. That gives the opportunity for it to be a fresh in everybody's mind and answer some questions that a large group meeting and a time meeting don't necessarily allow for, a 3 to 5 minute comment period. This allows us to sit at a table, kind of go through dialogue and have more one-on-one conversations. And they've been very successful. We've had good turnouts. It hasn't been overwhelming to where we can't get to everybody. We're able to get to everybody. And I feel like answer questions that come to us and just try to work and communicate with everybody that wants to attend.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We've dotted all our I's and crossed all our T's when it comes to transparency all through this process. And I'm glad that we're continuing to do that and actually do things that aren't legally required. It's just extra neighborly attention. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
I'm going to put David and or Jeff on the spot here for just a second. We had a pretty significant power outage last evening. I'm sure you have some data on that, but my general purpose is I believe our response was excellent and quickly executed, at least at the Hudson House. We appreciated it.
Yeah, we had about 1,674 people out of power. We were able to restore power to about 95% of them within the hour by isolating the section that was bad. And then the remainder, we were able to get back on within the 2-hour and 10-minute time frame. The guys worked really well together. They called in multiple other crews other than the people that were on call. I was out there the entire time with them. Jeff was at the substation monitoring to make sure that we didn't have any issues at the sub. So I think we have a really good team now, and I'm looking forward to what we can do in the future.
So my understanding was was it wind related?
That's our best guess is wind. 2 lines, 2 phases got together because of straight line winds probably. We did have, it caused some, when the lines get together, they basically fuse together. They were able to untangle those lines and repair a transformer that was just down the way that took the brunt of it also. I think there was some fuses maybe that had blown also that they were able to repair, but it was a nice day at least. That's all I can say.
Right.
You have anything to add?
No, just the same thing, how we worked well together. Obviously, we always do. And then having the amount of people to spread out, go to this switch, somebody go to this sub, somebody go to this switch, somebody go to the location of the fault, fix the problem. It's just nice to have that amount of people to spread out and get that job done quickly and obviously get it, fixed and get the power back on for everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good
Thank
job,
you.
guys.
Yeah, that's 1,600. That's, I don't know, 25%, 20 to 25% of our entire base. So,
We have about 10,000 electric customers right now.
Okay.
So.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we'd like to open public comment if there is any. Come in and state your name, please.
Evening, my name is Yadira Holgan. I am here more so regarding the ongoing LEAP project. Just make a very brief public comment. We are 2 months overdue on the anti-degradation report. And so I am here just essentially at this point, we are demanding that the wastewater not go into Eagle Creek. I think at this point, we're kind of just anxiously awaiting for a decision to hopefully move that project out of Eagle Creek. So that's it. Thank you.
Great comment. Do we have any other public comment at this time? Okay. Well, our next board meeting will be Wednesday, May the 6th, 2026 at 5 p.m. And I would after that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.